Boeing informs employees of potential NASA contract cancellations for SLS. On February 7, 2025, Boeing communicated to its employees that NASA is contemplating the cancellation of contracts tied to the Space Launch System SLS program, a significant development highlighting ongoing tensions within the U.S. space exploration framework. This announcement comes at a critical juncture as discussions within the White House and NASA intensify regarding the future of the SLS and its contribution to the Artemis Moon program. Meeting overview. Boeing's Vice President and Program Manager for the SLS, David Dutcher, held an urgent meeting with about 800 employees involved in the SLS initiative. The meeting, which lasted approximately 6 minutes and reportedly lacked an open question and answer session, conveyed the stark reality of potential layoffs. Dutcher indicated that contracts with NASA could terminate as early as March, with layoffs impacting around 400 positions by April 2025. The notification aligns with the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification (WARN) Act, which requires employers to provide a 60-day notice before mass layoffs. A Boeing spokesperson elaborated on the situation, stating, "To align with revisions to the Artemis program and cost expectations, we informed our Space Launch Systems team of the potential for approximately 400 fewer positions by April 2025. The company expressed its commitment to exploring redeployment options for affected employees in a bid to minimize job losses." Contextual background. The timing of this announcement appears strategically aligned with the anticipated release of President Trump's budget proposal for the fiscal year 2026, which is expected to address the future of the SLS program. Critics of the SLS have long cited its exorbitant costs, exceeding $2 billion per launch, alongside its history of significant delays and budget overruns. Many argue that the SLS could impede progress in lunar exploration, especially in light of advancements made by private aerospace companies such as SpaceX and Blue Origin. NASA responded to the concerns surrounding the SLS, asserting that it remains a vital component of the Artemis program. A NASA spokesperson emphasized that the space agency, along with its industry partners, is continuously evaluating and aligning budgetary needs, resources, contractor performance, and schedules to meet mission requirements effectively and safely. Implications and industry reactions. The uncertainty regarding the SLS program reflects a broader shift within the aerospace industry, where private companies are increasingly viewed as viable alternatives to government-led initiatives. The ongoing discussions around the potential cancellation of SLS contracts have reignited debates about the balance between cost efficiency, technological advancement, and the strategic objectives of U.S. space exploration. The SLS program was established in 2011 following directives from Congress and has drawn upon various components from the now-retired Space Shuttle program. Initially projected to launch in 2016, the SLS did not achieve its first flight until late 2022, resulting in significant delays and an estimated investment of approximately $3 billion annually by NASA. As Boeing navigates these turbulent waters, industry commentators have pointed out that the SLS's challenges are emblematic of larger issues within government contracting and space policy, with private companies rapidly developing reusable launch systems at a fraction of the SLS's cost. There is a growing sentiment that the program may not be sustainable in its current form. Conclusion. The potential cancellation of SLS contracts signals a pivotal moment for both Boeing and NASA as they confront the realities of a changing aerospace landscape. As the U.S. government grapples with budgetary constraints and the need for efficient space exploration strategies, the fate of the SLS program hangs in the balance. The outcome of these discussions will not only impact employment within Boeing but also set the course for America's future endeavors in lunar and beyond exploration. As the situation evolves, stakeholders across the aerospace industry will be closely monitoring developments, with the hope that any transitions will safeguard the interests of employees while fostering a more agile and innovative approach to space exploration. The recent announcement from Boeing regarding NASA's potential cancellation of Space Launch System SLS contracts unveils several counterintuitive aspects about the current state of the aerospace industry, governmental priorities, and the future of space exploration. 1. Public versus private space exploration. One of the most striking counterintuitive elements is the notion that private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin, which have made significant advancements in rocket technology, are now being viewed as more viable options compared to traditional government programs like the SLS. Critics argue that the SLS's exorbitant costs exceeding $2 billion per launch make it an inefficient choice for lunar exploration. This perspective runs counter to the historical view that government-led initiatives were the only viable means of pursuing such ambitious projects, highlighting a shift in the aerospace paradigm where private enterprise is increasingly trusted to deliver results more effectively and economically. 2. Job loss amidst innovation. The impending layoffs at Boeing, with approximately 400 positions at risk, underscore a paradox in the aerospace industry, as technological advancements continue to accelerate, the workforce required to support legacy systems may be diminishing. This trend raises uncomfortable questions about the balance between innovation and employment, especially as the industry moves toward more cost-efficient, automated, and reusable systems that require fewer human resources. The situation suggests that despite significant investment in human capital, the industry may prioritize technological efficiency over job preservation, which is an unexpected outcome for a sector often associated with high levels of employment. 3. Government spending dynamics. The announcement coinciding with the anticipation of President Trump's budget proposal brings to light the counterintuitive nature of governmental budgeting for space programs. While one might assume that a government agency would advocate for the continuation of its established programs, the conversation surrounding the SLS reflects a growing tension between maintaining traditional funding streams and the need for fiscal responsibility. The potential cancellation of the SLS contracts represents a reconsideration of established spending paradigms, challenging the belief that governmental projects are immune to the pressures of budgetary constraints, particularly in an era where taxpayers demand accountability and efficiency. 4. The technological stagnation versus progress. The SLS program, initiated in 2011 and plagued by delays and cost overruns, is viewed by some critics as a representation of technological stagnation. In contrast, the rapid development timelines of private entities highlight a stark dichotomy. What once was considered cutting-edge government technology is now seen as outdated and inefficient. This inversion of expectations about who leads technological innovation in space exploration is counterintuitive, as it challenges the long-held belief that government programs are the primary drivers of significant advancements in the field. 5. Strategic objectives of space exploration. The discussions surrounding the SLS's future also touch upon deeper strategic questions about the objectives of U.S. space exploration. The emphasis on returning to the Moon as part of the Artemis program contrasts with the increasing calls for prioritizing Mars or even other exploratory initiatives. This shift raises counterintuitive questions about the ultimate goals of national space policy. Should it be rooted in historical objectives such as lunar landings? Or should it adapt to emerging technologies and the shifting landscape of global space competition? The potential cancellation of SLS contracts suggests a reconsideration of these priorities, aligning more with technological readiness and cost-effectiveness than with traditional narratives of space exploration. 6. Public perception of space missions. Finally, the public sentiment towards space exploration missions is evolving. Historically, there has been a sense of national pride associated with government-led space missions, epitomized by the Apollo program. However, as discussions about the SLS's future unfold, it becomes evident that the public is increasingly skeptical of the value of such programs when they are perceived as inefficient or outdated. This shift in perception could have profound implications for future funding and support for space initiatives, as the public's trust in government-led projects wanes in favor of private sector achievements. In conclusion, The ongoing developments surrounding Boeing and NASA's SLS contracts reveal a complex interplay of factors that challenge traditional notions of government versus private enterprise, the role of employment in technological advancement, the dynamics of government spending, and the strategic objectives of space exploration. These counterintuitive insights not only reflect the current state of the aerospace industry but also foreshadow potential transformations in how humanity approaches exploration beyond our planet. Boeing's recent announcement regarding the potential cancellation of NASA's Space Launch System SLS contracts is a significant development that many may overlook due to the complexities and nuances involved in the aerospace industry. Here are some crucial aspects that deserve attention. 1. Worker implications and WARN Act compliance. The fact that Boeing is preparing for mass layoffs as indicated by the issuance of WARN Act notifications is a critical point. Approximately 400 positions could be affected. And the compliance with the WARN Act signifies the seriousness of the situation. This legal requirement serves not just as an obligation but also as a signal of the potential operational scale of changes within Boeing. The significance of this lies in the human impact. Employees who have dedicated years to the SLS program face uncertainty regarding their future. This move indicates that Boeing is bracing for a fundamental shift in its workforce that could ripple through local economies reliant on aerospace jobs. 2. Political context and budget considerations. The timing of the announcement is closely tied to discussions within the White House and the impending budget proposal from President Trump for fiscal year 2026. This context is crucial as it reflects the political maneuvering that often dictates the funding and continuation of large government contracts. Critics of the SLS program have long pointed out its exorbitant costs, over $2 billion per launch, creating a narrative that may influence congressional decisions. Understanding this interplay between politics and aerospace funding is significant, as it highlights how government priorities can shift based on broader political agendas, potentially sidelining programs that do not align with new fiscal strategies. 3. Cost versus efficiency debate. The ongoing debate about the SLS's high operational costs versus the efficiency of emerging private competitors like SpaceX and Blue Origin is pivotal. Many might overlook the implications of this shift toward privatization in space exploration. The criticisms of the SLS focus on its inefficiency and the potential for cost overruns, suggesting that maintaining the SLS could hinder technological progress in lunar exploration. This raises broader questions about how space exploration is funded and prioritized, particularly in an era where private companies are increasingly capable of delivering launch services at lower costs. Recognizing these dynamics is essential, as they may redefine how space missions are conceptualized and executed in the future. 4. Long-term implications for NASA's Artemis program. While NASA has asserted that the SLS is a vital component of the Artemis program, the uncertainty surrounding its future poses risks to this ambitious initiative. The Artemis program aims to return humans to the Moon and eventually send astronauts to Mars, and reliance on a single expensive launch system could limit NASA's ability to meet its objectives efficiently. The significant delays and budget overruns associated with the SLS could result in a lack of timely progress, potentially ceding ground to international competitors. This is significant because it not only impacts U.S. leadership in space exploration but also affects strategic national interests in maintaining technological superiority. 5. Public perception and support for space exploration. The potential cancellation of the SLS contracts may also reflect shifting public sentiment regarding government spending on space exploration. There is a growing narrative that questions the necessity of large government-funded programs in favor of private sector innovation. This changing perception could influence future funding and support for NASA and its initiatives. The significance of this lies in the potential for a paradigm shift in how space exploration is approached, moving from a government-centric model to one more reliant on private industry collaboration. 6. Historical context of SLS development. The SLS was born out of a congressional directive in 2011 utilizing components from the Space Shuttle program, and has been under development for over a decade. The history of its delays and escalating costs is significant as it illustrates the challenges faced by large government contracts. Understanding this historical context may inform current discussions about the viability of similar programs and the lessons learned regarding project management funding and technological development in the aerospace sector. 7. Impact on future space missions. The discussions around the SLS's future raise broader questions about the direction of U.S. space policy. If the SLS program is cancelled, it could lead to a re-evaluation of how NASA approaches its missions, possibly accelerating the reliance on commercial launch providers. This transition could open up opportunities for new technologies and methods of space exploration, but it also introduces uncertainties regarding mission timelines and capabilities. The significance of this is profound, as it could set a precedent for how future missions are structured and funded. Conclusion. In conclusion, the implications of Boeing's announcement regarding the potential cancellation of SLS contracts are multifaceted and extend far beyond immediate job losses. The interplay of political dynamics, budgetary considerations, and the evolving landscape of space exploration warrants close attention. Understanding these nuances is essential for grasping the future trajectory of NASA's programs and the broader aerospace industry. As the space sector continues to evolve, these discussions will shape the narrative of U.S. leadership in exploration and innovation. 1. Potential cancellation of SLS contracts and its implications. Boeing's communication to its employees about the possible cancellation of contracts related to NASA's Space Launch System SLS has significant implications for both the company and the space industry. The potential loss of these contracts may result in layoffs affecting about 400 employees, highlighting the precarious nature of government contracts in the aerospace sector. This situation underscores the ongoing tensions within NASA and the White House regarding the future of the SLS program, which has faced criticism for its high costs and inefficiencies compared to private competitors like SpaceX and Blue Origin. 2. Cost and efficiency debates. The SLS program, which has been fraught with delays and budget overruns, costs over $2 billion per launch, prompting critics to question its viability in an era where private companies are developing more cost-effective and efficient launch systems. As the aerospace landscape evolves, the debate surrounding the SLS's future reflects a broader shift towards prioritizing budgetary efficiency and technological advancements, particularly as private companies continue to disrupt traditional government-led space initiatives. 3. NASA's position and future strategy. NASA asserts that the SLS remains a critical component of its Artemis program, aiming to return humans to the Moon and eventually explore Mars. However, the agency's commitment to the SLS faces scrutiny as discussions about alternative launch solutions intensify. The potential strategic pivot towards private sector collaboration may redefine NASA's approach to human space exploration, emphasizing the importance of aligning resources, contractor performance, and budget management to meet mission requirements effectively. For impact on workforce and industry dynamics, the potential layoffs at Boeing coupled with the uncertain future of the SLS program highlight the fragility of the workforce in the aerospace industry. Boeing's efforts to mitigate job losses through redeployment options indicate a recognition of the need to adapt to changing market conditions. This situation not only affects Boeing employees but also reflects broader industry dynamics as companies must navigate the complexities of government contracts, technological advancements, and competition from private firms in an increasingly commercialized space exploration landscape. Here are 3 famous historical cases that reflect similar themes of government contracts, commercial competition in aerospace, and significant shifts in policy direction. 1. The Space Shuttle Program. NASA, launched in 1981. NASA's Space Shuttle program was initially hailed as a revolutionary approach to space travel. However, over time it became emblematic of spiraling costs, delays, and technical challenges. The program faced criticism for its budget overruns and safety issues, particularly following the Challenger and Columbia disasters. By the time the shuttle program was retired in 2011, it had cost over $196 billion, with each launch averaging around $1.5 billion. Similar to the SLS discussions, the debate surrounding the shuttle's value highlighted tensions between traditional government-led initiatives and the rise of private aerospace companies, which began to emerge as more cost-effective alternatives. 2. The Comet. British Airways and Airbus. The de Havilland Comet was the world's first commercial jet airliner entering service in 1952. Initially celebrated, the Comet faced catastrophic failures due to design issues, leading to a series of crashes. This situation prompted investigations and regulatory scrutiny, leading to significant design changes. The Comet's troubles illustrate the consequences of rushing government contracts and the importance of thorough testing and oversight in aerospace development. The subsequent withdrawal of the Comet from service and the rise of competitors like Boeing and McDonnell Douglas underscored how quickly market dynamics can shift in response to technological failures and safety concerns. 3. The Airbus A380 program. The Airbus A380, which entered service in 2007, aimed to revolutionize air travel with its capacity and efficiency. However, the project faced numerous delays and cost overruns, totaling approximately $25 billion. The financial struggles of the A380 program have led to reconsiderations of large-scale aircraft projects, especially in light of changing market demands and the success of smaller, more flexible aircraft models like the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350. This situation reflects the broader industry trend where new entrants and agile competitors challenge established aerospace giants, similar to how SpaceX and Blue Origin are impacting the traditional government contractor landscape today. These historical examples illustrate the complexities and challenges of large-scale aerospace projects, especially regarding government contracts, technological competition, and the balance between public and private sector roles in space exploration. The recent announcement from Boeing indicating that NASA may cancel its contracts for the Space Launch System (SLS) program signals a pivotal moment in the U.S. space industry. As the landscape of space exploration evolves, the implications of this potential change are vast and multifaceted. Here's a future outlook on the consequences and trends we may expect to unfold in the coming years. 1. Shift towards private sector leadership. With the SLS program facing scrutiny for its exorbitant costs, over $2 billion per launch, and delays, the aerospace industry is likely to see a continued shift towards private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin. These companies have demonstrated the capability to deliver heavy payloads to orbit at significantly reduced costs, prompting a re-evaluation of NASA's reliance on traditional contractors like Boeing. In the future, we may see NASA increasingly partner with private entities for lunar and Martian missions, leveraging their innovative technologies and cost-effective solutions. 2. Increased funding for commercial space ventures. If NASA officially cancels the SLS contracts, we could witness a reallocation of funding towards commercial space initiatives. This could include enhanced contracts with private companies that are developing reusable rockets and other advanced technologies. The Biden administration's budget proposals will likely reflect a commitment to fostering commercial spaceflight and exploration, which could accelerate advancements in the sector and stimulate economic growth. 3. Potential reforms in space policy. The ongoing debate around the SLS program may lead to broader reforms in space policy. Lawmakers and stakeholders might push for a framework that encourages competition and innovation, moving away from cost-plus contracts that have historically burdened programs like the SLS with inefficiencies. Future policy could emphasize milestones and performance-based contracts, ensuring that taxpayer dollars are spent effectively. 4. Redefining NASA's role in space exploration. As the Artemis program looks to make human landings on the Moon, NASA may redefine its role from a direct contractor to a facilitator and regulator of commercial partnerships. This transition could allow NASA to focus more on mission planning and oversight, while leaving the execution of launches and spacecraft development to the private sector. This could also lead to a more agile and responsive space exploration strategy, adapting quickly to technological advancements and market changes. 5. Impact on workforce and industry dynamics. The potential layoffs at Boeing due to the cancellation of SLS contracts highlight the fragility of traditional aerospace jobs in the face of shifting priorities. However, this could also lead to job creation in the private sector as companies like SpaceX expand their operations. The workforce may increasingly need to adapt to new technologies and business models, necessitating retraining and upskilling initiatives. 6. Lunar and Martian exploration plans. The cancellation of SLS contracts could lead to a reconsideration of the timeline and logistics of lunar and Martian exploration. NASA may explore other means to achieve its goals in the Artemis program, potentially leveraging commercial launch systems or even international partnerships. The future could see a more collaborative approach to deep space exploration, incorporating global efforts and shared resources. 7. Technological innovations and reusability. The rise of reusable rocket technologies from companies like SpaceX is likely to dominate future launches. This trend will continue as the aerospace industry increasingly prioritizes sustainability and cost-effectiveness. The next decade may see significant advancements in propulsion systems, spacecraft design, and launch logistics, making space travel more accessible and frequent. 8. Public interest and engagement in space exploration. As private companies take a more prominent role in space exploration, public interest in space missions may grow. Collaborative projects that involve citizen science or private investment could engage the public more actively in space initiatives, fostering a new era of exploration that includes broader participation from various stakeholders. Conclusion. In summary, the possibility of NASA canceling SLS contracts could catalyze a transformative shift in the aerospace industry. The focus on private sector innovation, cost-effectiveness, and technological advancement may redefine how the U.S. approaches space exploration. While challenges such as workforce transitions and policy reforms lie ahead, the future of space exploration appears poised for a new chapter characterized by collaboration, efficiency, and a renewed sense of adventure.